Hello you guys, well Jurassic World Evolution 3 is officially upon us, and what you are about to see is the official gameplay from my session with the game at the special preview event. We got to play a campaign mode and Sandbox, and I don't want to talk over too much of the campaign mode because the narration is actually quite good, so let's actually waste no time. Let's get started, see you in a minute.
Life breaks free, and that's exactly what it did, time and time again, tearing down barrier after barrier until finally we arrived here, this Jurassic World. There is no path left to travel but forwards. No viable option but coexistence with the dinosaurs. It's a rocky road ahead of us, less rocky, perhaps, under the right management.
This is going to feel a little bit like DVD commentary. I am recording it in the past, so this is kind of weird.
Welcome! Welcome! I am, of course, Cabot Finch, managing director of this new enterprise and the owner of this lovely patch of Badlands. Go on, take a look around. Breathe in the, fresh air.
Decidedly less fresh around the herbivore enclosure. Hey, tell me, what are you calling this again? Is it done? Dim?
DIN, the Dinosaur Integration Network. I am Kira Chang. A pleasure to meet you. We intend to help dinosaurs and humans coexist globally, and I am here to find clients who share that goal.
Hey, so I should, ignore the roaming velociraptors that I saw on the way in and just focus on the bare bones enclosure? Wow, you're spoiling me.
Please, Doctor, take a look at the site map.
So at this point, it's pretty much WSAD, zoom in and out with the mouse, etc. And then this is the site map.
Not only does this map allow us to oversee the site, but it also shows that the raptors are no longer nearby. We have plenty of time.
Oh yes, plenty of time, sure. Until, of course, we don't.
All right, let's get this showcase underway. To kick things off, some rescues will be arriving here any time now. Let's use a delivery zone to transport them all in one trip. It saves time and, even better, a boatload of chopper fuel.
The only problem I've got here is the fact that it's zoomed somewhere else and I couldn't find where to put it. Oh, wait, yeah, there you go. There he is. It's time to line it up. Come on, Chacho. There we go. That's how you do it.
Okay, perfect. When the chopper gets here, direct them to that delivery zone.
Which is all very good and well, but I couldn't work out where the chopper was or how long the chopper was going to take. So I'm sat there going, okay, fine, I'm all right with that. And then it comes up and it says, yep, here you go. Here's where the chopper is. And then you have to direct it to the zone. And there you go. It just sort of happens.
Excellent. The Loki-Ceratops are on their way. And the pilot said there's something special about the group, so, consider my interest piqued.
Ah, our other important guest has arrived. Dr. Dua, welcome to Montana.
And thank you for inviting me. Your goal to help dinosaurs thrive has certainly caught the conservation sector's attention. I truly hope you can succeed.
Ha! So do I. So do I.
And this is the first bit of the game that properly impressed me because the helicopter comes down, it sort of dumps the crate where it needs to dump it, and then it opens up and you just see the dinosaurs for the first time. The textures, the way they move, everything. It's just so beautiful.
A wild juvenile dinosaur. Absolutely remarkable. And not a common sight these days. You know, the mind boggles thinking about how its experiences now will shape it. Will its future be peaceful? Chaotic? The deciding factor, I suspect, is you.
What a beautiful young dinosaur. Can we perhaps observe it more closely?
Dinosaur appeal is one of the things that'll draw new guests to a site. And boy, oh boy, do juveniles sell entry tickets.
And well-cared-for juveniles will grow into more appealing adults as well. As dinosaurs explore their new enclosure, they'll form a territory. It's inside this territory that their environment must meet their needs.
Some dinosaurs play well with others. Some less so. Keep an eye on who's sharing an enclosure with who.
I must say, that enclosure is a far cry from the environment these animals evolved for.
All part of the demonstration, I assure you. We have a suite of environmental tools to help make this enclosure more appropriate, which is, of course, our next priority.
And this is the first bit of the game that properly impressed me because there's a whole environment rating thing. If you've played Planet Zoo, then you're quite familiar with the idea of keeping animals and stuff happy. It feels very familiar, but it's also very, very different. The tools that you get, as you can see, they are just so smooth. You can just place down environment stuff. And again, if you've played Planet Coaster 2 with the scenery brush, this pretty much exactly the same thing, and all you do is you just go through and you keep adding in the bits. Here I'm just trying to work out whether I need to manually use the sliders or whether I just need to keep going for the stuff that's got the hearts and just be done with it. Eventually I get there and it sort of all works out.
Wonderful work. Actions like this will certainly earn you a good reputation with the conservation sector.
And then this is where I just carried on playing around. I still don't know to this day what the blue haze means because it doesn't go through the environment. It doesn't go through the entirety of the enclosure, but whatever. We just went with it and carried on. But this is where it starts to get interesting. This is the first time it introduces some kind of a peril to you, and it's the first time you get to see weather.
Not to alarm you all, but is that
A sandstorm, and it came out of nowhere.
typical? It ripped apart some of our fences, too.
Storms like this can harm or panic dinosaurs. This is a delicate situation.
Right. A spooked giant is a big threat to our guests. The priority needs to be tranquilizing it with the capture team chopper. We can repair the enclosure later.
And this is probably one of the coolest things that the game does, because now I'm about to fly a chopper, and I'm about to fly a chopper badly. So I'm trying to work out at the moment how I take off to start with, and then do I need to keep the chopper in the air, like as in, is it going to auto-float, or have I got to maintain height? And then it's trying to navigate around. It's WSAD, and I hadn't been able to rebind the keys to up, down, left, right, so by this point I was really struggling with muscle memory. But I found the dinos, there they are. I just now need to work out how to go into tranquilizer mode, and I'm at this point just happily flying a coaster in the clouds. Woohoo! This is all fun, and it's quite sensitive actually. You don't have to do much to make the chopper move, and yeah, I'm sort of struggling with the camera, struggling with it, and then thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to press some buttons, and I find tranquilizer mode. There we go. And then you have to take aim at the dinosaur, and it's actually quite refined. You have to be very precise with your shooting. And there you go, kaboom! I think I missed that one. No, there you go. Down they go. And then they obviously just tell you that it's that they are now tranquilized. And then you go back to the chopper, and I'm like, oh wait, have I got to land this thing now? Because I don't remember where I came from, and I don't remember how to fly the chopper, and I'm struggling with this. So I'm just gonna hover around a little bit.
Hey, nice shooting. Those dinosaurs won't be waking up anytime soon, so you've earned us some breathing space. Now, I'm not exactly adept with a hammer, so let's bring in the experts. We need a maintenance facility, and like yesterday...
Every facility placed will need to be connected to our path network.
Now get out there and repair everything you can. You know, Dr. Dua, Dr. Malcolm, your testimonials would really make a difference. We need the support of the conservation sector if anyone will take us seriously. And if they don't, Din is going down. And taking what's left of my money and self-respect with it.
John Hammond said something similar when he brought me and the others to Jurassic Park. You know, I could dig out the report that I made for him, but I'd need to update some details, like oohs and ahs and running and screaming, you know, that sort of thing.
I'm not sure that now is the time for that conversation, Mr. Finch. Let's focus on the task at hand for the moment. Consider it this.
Control retaken.
A thorough and efficient batch of repairs. Impressive work.
Now that the enclosure is fixed up, we're safe to transport the dinosaurs back into it. When transporting a dinosaur, first choose the animal you want to move and then pick where to send it.
And so at this point, I had to try and work out how on earth I was going to call the chopper back because it needed transporting. And I was like, oh my god, am I going to have to fly this bloody chopper again? Or have I got to... what have I got to do? Like, what are the options? What are the menus? I think I eventually find it. It's one of the options. But in the meantime, I'm also sitting here thinking, I actually quite like how this game looks. It looked really good. This environment is actually quite nice.
Heading to collect the asset. Asset collection request received.
That storm could have torn the park apart, or hurt the dinosaurs. We got lucky, but luck tends to run out eventually.
No need to worry. I suggested we prepare for such a thing weeks ago. And we did prepare, didn't we, Mr. Finch?
Well, you know, the to-do list was pretty long. And how was I to know we'd be hit by a... Look, let's not point fingers, especially at me. Bit of a long shot, but Dr. Malcolm, any chance you can ignore the whole breakout thing?
Oh boy, now you're asking an awful lot of me.
Okay, maybe not ignore, but focus on how well we dealt with it? No? Well, can't blame a guy for trying, huh?
Asset transported.
Let's place down some maintenance posts across the site. They'll let your maintenance ATVs patrol and fix the place up automatically.
And now we get to see the idea of maintenance posts, and this is the first time we're going to start interacting with staff, and the fact that we can actually control stuff ourselves. I quite enjoy this bit because it's got a lot of depth, got a lot of detail.
You want your maintenance posts to cover all buildings and power generators that might need repairing, refueling, or resupplying. Those posts also have a wider range to them, and any fences that break in that range will automatically get repaired.
So I quite like the fact that the whole thing is automatic. You don't have to control everything. I was a little bit worried that it was just going to be a little bit micromanaging. Planet Zoo suffers with that a little bit, where you've got lots of stuff you have to do all the time, and then it just takes away from the idea of building the park. But actually, no, the fact that it is going to be automatic kind of does that for me. What I was struggling with here, not only was the placement, because I'd never placed something down, so I didn't know whether it needed to align to the path, or whether it could just be freestanding, or what it needed. Did it need to be within power? Did I have power? All of that sort of stuff. I was sort of like trying to place these down, and then I realised I didn't know how big my park was. There is a meter at the bottom that tells you how much you've covered, and it's all good. But yeah, I'm sort of there sitting there thinking, how much have I got to put down? And the radius is quite large as well, so you've kind of got to be very strategic with how you place it.
Once you've placed your maintenance posts, you can directly assign a maintenance team to each one.
This was also the bit that I was a little bit worried was going to be quite finicky and quite, difficult to do. I didn't know where to do it. It doesn't give you that much direction. I kind of figured it's going to be one of two places. I either need to find the maintenance place and send people to the post, or it's from the post and you send maintenance to it. So, I mean, you get there, but I kind of wish, given that this is a tutorial, I kind of wish it had told me that.
I've arranged for more dinosaurs to arrive on site. They were struggling in the nearby desert, but we can give them a better life here.
One moment. Corythosaurus. They cohabitate wonderfully with Lokiceratops, so please do place them in the same enclosure. Replicating natural varied ecosystems should always be a high priority.
All right then. You're the boss. Until you say you're supporting us at least. Then I'm back in charge. I'm kidding. Mostly.
So it's at this point that I try and find the right enclosure to put it in, not realising actually that it was already telling me where to put it, and it was right there in front of me. And then I was like, well, okay, I need to put a delivery patch down because the helicopter needs to come in and do it again. Remember, I don't have any experience with any of the previous games, so I'm playing this completely blind, and nor do I know anything about dinosaurs. I don't know what dinosaurs can live in what habitat. And then I'm thinking, well, okay, if I can't see the area that it needs to go to right now, where is it in the actual game? So I think I'm about to do some exploring. Like, there's one up here, and then I spotted, by the way, that enclosure is not complete, and I was like, oh wait, is this going to be something that we're going to do later on? Like, we're going to get to build the fences and stuff. Spoiler alert, we don't get to, because we end up in the sandbox, and we end up sort of like finishing that and doing that. But anyway, I'm sort of then going in. I found the right enclosure, and I'm now in the menus trying to find myself a delivery pad, not realising I've already got one in this enclosure, because that's, where we started the entire game. But it's fine. Let's just let Chacho have a play. Let's just let him do it his way. So there you go. Hits down. And then at this point, I hadn't realised that I'd asked the game for more time. You get a chance to sort of like land the dino in the enclosure there and then, or you ask it for 2 minutes. I didn't realise there was a 2-minute countdown timer that was going on. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, well, how am I going to kill 2 minutes? So I think to myself, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through all the menus. I'm going to start having a look at the stuff that's available to me. Now, a lot of the things in these menus, they unlock as you progress. Or in Sandbox, of course, they're already unlocked, and you get to play with stuff. But I was like, I'm just going to have a see, get a feel for what's in here. So there's all sorts of fun stuff that I started to look at, not knowing how on earth it's all going to come together. Not a clue, but it looks good. I started to look at the pre-made buildings, started to look at the guest services, the guest facilities, all of that sort of stuff. And actually, it feels a little bit similar to Planet Coaster. It's just these are pre-made plop-and-play style buildings as opposed to the ones that you actually build from the ground up and build from scratch. Then I'm starting to realise that the time is going to start running out very, very quickly, and I can now actually put the dinosaur in. So there you go. Should we bring him in?
This place is shaping up faster than I expected. The benefit of hiring the right park manager, eh? I mean, just take a step back and look at what you've done already. This site is our very own window into prehistoric Montana. Diplodocus? Check. Lokiceratops? Check. Corythosaurus? Well, here we go. Delivery successful. Now, we better make sure those dinosaurs are loving their new home. I mean, I'm sure they are, but I pride myself on being a good host. Or at least a passable one.
They could certainly be more comfortable here. Balancing comfort between multiple species can be a challenge, but one worth overcoming.
And I probably don't need to interrupt and tell you here that this is pretty much a rinse and repeat of what we did before, just choosing all of the right items, especially the ones that have got the heart next to it, the game still tells you. And yeah, just making sure that they're actually happy in their environment.
Is it just me, or do those dinosaurs not look as happy as the Lokiceratops?
Like many species, they need males in their herd to truly thrive. Male dinosaurs are rather rare, though, so there's little we can do. Perhaps Din isn't a good fit for the conservation sector. Your work is inspiring, but the dinosaurs need something extraordinary if they're to get a foothold in the wild.
You know, the dinosaurs aren't adapting fast enough to reproduce on their own. The course of natural history is trying to reassert itself, and you simply cannot fight nature.
But we could work with it. I know of a research station developing not only male dinosaur synthesis, but sustainable breeding programs too. If it will earn your support, I suggest that we all head there immediately.
Just to check, we're, coming back here, right?
Oh, we must. If that research succeeds, we have to return to reintroduce male dinosaurs to these herds.
All right, my bags are packed, so let's go.
But at this point, quite a few Frontier staff actually made a beeline to me, so I sat chatting to them for a while and not actually playing the game, so I think we can probably fast forward a little bit. 1 second.
Well, you know, I've been to a tropical island harboring so-called groundbreaking research before, and I felt this same mix of sheer wonder and utter dread back then, too. I'm more optimistic about what I'll find this time around, but still, if I may, a word of advice: build more places to hide than you think you need.
Aloha, Hawaii!
This is not a vacation, Mr. Finch. We are here to support pioneering research on dinosaur breeding. And to that end, I'm pleased to introduce you all to Dr. Luis Baldera, a leading paleoecologist. Dr. Baldera, the room is yours.
Hey, good to meet you all. Truth be told, I wasn't expecting help so soon. Kira seemed pretty insistent that it has to be now, though, so I'm definitely gonna make the most of it.
Well, you know, we're all dying to see how this works out. Well, hopefully not not literally dying.
Dr. Baldera has done quite well on his own, but many minds make light research. We'll need a control center so that we can hire scientists for the project.
And welcome to Hawaii then. So this is the point of the game where it's going to start teaching us about the plop and play elements. It's going to teach us about scientists going on expeditions, finding fossils, extracting them, and eventually we're going to end up synthesizing our own dinosaurs and stuff. So I'm familiarizing myself here with the buildings that I've already got. I already know I need to go into the menu and pick out the control center, etc. The game's telling me how to do that. But yeah, it's an interesting way of setting up. Now, this bit feels a little bit finicky because that buildable boundary sort of intersects with the buildable area. So it's telling me to place it down and it's then not letting me do it. And I'm like, well, I'm doing what you're asking me.
We should hook that building up to the path network, too.
But I eventually get it done and it's all sorted. Luckily, though, connecting up to the path is easy.
Science by candlelight is great for atmosphere, but less great for productivity. Let's get a generator down and power that building.
So those of you familiar with the idea of power and water facilities, especially if you've played Planet Coaster, Planet Zoo, or of course the previous games, this is where we're going to start putting in those additional facilities, and there's the power generator. I'm sort of wondering what the yellow bit is there, because it is a sphere of influence, it's a radius, but didn't quite work out what that was all about. So we're going to place it down right about here.
Scientists have a variety of skills, but researching male synthesis will require experience in genetics. Please hire whomever you think can do the job.
So genetics, that's important for this bit, because I go into the scientist menu, immediately forget the scientist that I need to go for. Luckily for me, I had Moomin Little Socks sat to my right, who was a little bit ahead of me because of my time chatting to the staff, and I'm there going, Moomin, who do I need to hire? Who do I hire? His response, by the way, was, I also forgot, and I just hired a ton of people, got told off by the game because I was going to cost too much money, but eventually he was like, I think it was this person. But what I'm doing right now is just familiarizing myself with the people that I think and having a look for their stats, and then there we go, we are going to hire.
That's the genetic skill requirements sorted. Scientists aren't free, so let's not hire more than we need for now, huh?
That was the bit of the game, by the way, telling you off to not hire too many people.
Okay, first off, we're gonna need a science center. See, while parthenogenesis is a thing, that's reproduction without a mate. Dinosaur breeding typically requires a pair. Male dinosaurs are uncommon in the wild, but we can create our own with a bit of clever research. That's where the science center comes in.
So I'm going to be honest, at this point, I kind of got myself a little bit lost with what I was actually doing. I got a little bit overwhelmed by the whole thing. It's all my fault. It's not the game's fault in any way, shape or form. I was thinking to myself, how am I going to remember how any of this research stuff works? So I'm just pressing buttons and hoping that I'm pressing them in the right order. Luckily for me, I think I actually did.
Dr. Baldera, do you truly believe that this breeding program will work?
I'm pretty sure it will. Dinosaurs breeding in the wild is rare, but I've observed common needs and behaviors. That's what we're building from. Next steps. Right. We need to gather some genetic material if we're going to actually synthesize a male. But finding an appropriate dig site will take a head for logistics that I definitely don't have. Let's hire some practical thinkers.
Okay, so practical thinkers. Who on earth are they? As I said, at this point, I'm a little bit overwhelmed by what I need to do because I don't really know what I'm doing. Again, never played the game, don't know what is going on. So I'm just going to recruit another scientist. Maybe that one. Yeah, there you go. And I'm just going to go through and think, well, I've done geneticist, so it's got to be the other thing that's on the screen, right? And, of course, higher number, better person.
Now let's research a dig site with plenty of Maiasaura fossils.
Wonderful. There's surely no better choice to pioneer this research than a species whose name means good mother lizard.
Well, sure. What better reason to bring a breathing, thinking being into a strange new world than a lovely, apt name?
We'll need an expedition center to act as a base of operations for the dig. Let's construct one immediately.
At this point, I'm sitting here thinking, this feels a little bit like 2 Point Museum, the idea of putting down expeditions. And how are they going to deal with the mechanic of sending out expeditions? What's this going to look like? Is it going to be as tedious or not?
Expeditions and me go way back. They're a crucial part of any site like this one, after all. See, we send teams out to dig sites where they collect fossils. Then we crack those fossils open and scoop out the genome, which lets us create dinosaurs. That wasn't the most scientific explanation, but it gets the idea across, right?
A whole lot of Maiasaura fossils and eggs were found in Montana's Egg Mountain dig site. Sounds like a prime expedition spot to me.
Oh, hey, that's not far from the dusty patch of paradise we just came from. Small world.
Smaller still when the continents were smushed together.
Fantastic. Our expedition is underway. Let's hope they bring back some great fossils, huh? Keeping an eye on dinosaur welfare is a full-time job, and I don't want your attention stretched thin. That's when trouble starts. The ranger teams can handle it, but they'll need to be assigned to ranger posts to guide their patrols. Let's build some posts and get those rangers to work.
Yeah, I was completely ignoring what you were saying because I was actually looking at the beautiful water and seeing how that was. So anyway, let's get some posts down.
Make sure the ranger posts cover any dinosaurs that you want your rangers to keep an eye on during their patrols.
Thankfully for us, this feels actually quite familiar to the whole idea of putting the power and stuff down in the previous one. It kind of makes sense.
Looking good. Now just assign ranger teams to those posts and you're set.
Oh, and it's at this point I'm like, I've got no idea what you just asked me to do, pal. I've got no idea if I've got rangers, if I've got enough things down. How do I even go about any of this? So let's go and explore a little bit, shall we? Because, yeah. So I'm trying to find the needs of the dinosaurs to see whether it is. At this point, I was like, it's not really telling me where the ranger posts... Well, it is telling me where the ranger posts are, but it's not making it obvious where the ranger posts are. I kind of wish that those little red icons were actually a different colour for the ranger posts, so you could easily identify it. Because when you've got lots of dinosaurs that are batched together like that, that ranger post gets a little bit lost in translation. So here, I'm just sort of going through and thinking, well, okay, how do I do this? So you then go in, you select your rangers, they're already in the game, and then you just sort of have to wait for them to come through.
Maiasaura are not the only animals that this client cares about. So, while we have some time, please ensure that the other dinosaurs here are comfortable.
And this is then just a rinse and repeat of the whole idea of making the environment good. So we kind of have to call back. It's a callback to basically what we did before. Now, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, well, I click on the dinosaur and it tells me about their environment. And then it's not actually telling me. There's an error message that says, no, the rangers need to come in and actually observe this dinosaur first. So I knew they were on their way. I just kind of figured I'm going to watch the dinosaur for a bit and see what happens. See the little ranger? It's in the blue. He's in the blue like 4x4 thing that's actually in the water. We just don't look at that. Don't look where I'm pointing. But at this point, the ranger is now is making sure that everything is okay with the dinosaur, so I can now start to go through and put all of the stuff down. At this point, I'm trying to remember how to do it. I know that there's an edit button somewhere, and is that it? No, it's not. It's obvious. When I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, you just click on that edit bit there, and then you just choose all the heart pieces, and off you go. So down on the right-hand corner, it is actually pointing me through all of the stuff that I've got, all the requirements that are needed, and how far off those I actually am. Like I say, this tool is just incredible. It feels exactly like the scenery paintbrush from Planet Coaster 2. And I'm wondering which was inspired by which. You know, what came first? Did they implement it first in Planet Coaster 2 and then put it into Jurassic World Evolution 3? Or was it already in this game and they ported it across to Planet Coaster 2? I don't know the answer, but I like the answer. I like that it's in both. I kind of wish, actually, that was in Planet Zoo as well. Then, at this point, I'm like, well, okay, I need to do the same for the other dinosaurs. But for some reason I couldn't work out at this point why the Rangers hadn't arrived and whether it was going to let me do it. So I realised the Ranger had then arrived. It was just loading in all of the data, and again it's just a case of rinsing and repeating this one. I did, however, at this point want to work out how to do the water, because I wanted to see what the marshland looks like. At this point I hadn't realised that I needed to scroll down to the bottom to find that functionality. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to work through the bits that I need to work through. I'm sure I'll stumble across the whole marshland stuff in a second. But again, this whole idea of the blue haze, now it does stretch across the entire encampment. So I'm like, I don't really get what that blue haze is telling me. And even doing the commentary in hindsight, I still don't know. Like, watching my footage back, I still don't know what it's telling me. Is it dinosaur radius? Is it not? Anyway, here's the marsh bit. I found the marshland, and I'm putting it down, and it's just not really doing marshy type stuff.
No one's gonna want to visit these sites if they can't see the dinosaurs. Look, this isn't my area of expertise, but the math is simple enough. Impressive prehistoric animals plus well-placed viewing galleries equals more guests. Take those guests and subtract their spending money, and that equals a very happy Cabot Finch, huh? How's that for showing you're working out? The point is, always make sure an enclosure has good dinosaur visibility if we're to make this a sustainable endeavor. A well-positioned viewing building is worth its weight in, well, concrete and reinforced glass.
And now we need to start trying to make some money with the park, I think. So we're going to put down some viewing galleries and some viewing spots, collecting it up to park and stuff. By the way, at this point, I'd completely forgotten we need to be doing expeditions and doing the research and all that sort of stuff.
Hey, did our expedition team make it back all right? Did they, find anything good?
Use the Science Center to extract genetic information from the fossils they bring back. This is a task best done by scientists skilled in genetics.
And anything not rich in genetic information could still make us rich in petty cash. So don't be shy about selling things either.
See, the game just reminded you. By the way, did you remember that you've actually got some expeditions out? I did not pay attention to what he was saying at all. Something about petty cash, something about selling stuff, or something about extracting things from fossils that have come back. Like, this bit was, again, my tism overwhelming me a little bit, purely because I just didn't know what I was doing, not because it's any fault of the game or whatever. So I kind of realised I need to extract stuff from fossils because we're trying to synthesize dinosaurs and stuff. So you select the fossil, you select the scientist, and then you select it to go. Off we go.
Ooh, while we're laying the foundation of the project, let's build a hatchery too. Can't breed dinosaurs without hatching a few eggs, right?
Not long now until the genome is done extracting. What's that old saying? A watched pot of dino DNA never boils?
No, sorry, buddy. I'm about to completely ignore you because I got distracted by the waterfalls and wanted to work out how the whole waterfall thing worked. So, yeah, I was like, okay, this is actually quite pretty. I quite like how this is.
Now that you can exert more control over embryonic hormones, it's time to synthesize your first male Maiasaura. Just think, generations of dinosaurs engineered to be female, and now we're purposefully unshackling them. Incredible.
Yeah, sure. I've got absolutely no idea what you just said to me. I'm just going to follow the prompt on the screen, choose myself a scientist, and I'm going to go and away. There you go.
Commencing synthesis.
If I may, I can only hope that all the consequences of this are being considered. I know they're not, of course, but, I do love to hope.
We are considering every outcome in this research. Your concern is understandable, but unfounded.
Unfounded? Geez, what a thing to say. My concern has a rock-solid foundation of experience. I've seen profits put before science. I've seen rapid progress, and the excitement around that eclipse any caution. So, not unfounded.
Yes, I misspoke. Your experience is evident, but we are not biosyn, Doctor.
We are not InGen. Try to see this work with fresh eyes, optimistic eyes.
Well, I'm very optimistic, so let's keep on going.
Okay, let's incubate those eggs. You've gotta love the hatchery, right? Amazing building. Life literally develops inside it.
Life finds a way. So I'm kind of glad, by the way, that at this point we're coming to the end of it. I got myself a little bit lost, and I was like, I don't really know how to retrace where I was, so I'm just going to press buttons and hope for the best. Let me know, by the way, if you've liked this commentary. This is a different way of doing it to the other gameplays. I kind of figured that you guys would want to see the game as it was played, rather than just listen to me talk for 40 minutes.
Synthesis procedure.
Oh, hello there, history. Repeating yourself, I see. Hey, tell me, did meddling in nature work out well the first time?
And it's actually at this point that someone from Frontier came over and offered me the opportunity to go into Sandbox. So this is kind of the end of the campaign mode. I kind of wish that I'd had a little bit more time with it, because I was kind of enjoying it, but I'm also glad it kind of came to an end. I was ready to start exploring the game.
All right,
with
ready when you are.
Shush. I was starting to think that I was ready to explore the game as a game. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and hop over into Sandbox, shall we? And it's at this point that the DVD commentary has going to come to an end, because there is now nothing else in terms of narration. So, this is the Sandbox portion of the video. This is where we get to just play around in the game and hope for the best. Like, just hope that something from the campaign mode actually stuck and you can build a park. There were two versions, by the way, that we could do. There was China and there was Hawaii. So, China needed a little bit more work. That's why I chose it. Hawaii was I think it was Hawaii, that was the one you could actually just pull apart. It was a fully functioning park. So some creators chose that one. I chose this one because I wanted to have a little bit of space to do stuff. What I'm doing right now is I'm just surveying the entire area and absolutely just adoring the beauty of this entire thing. Like, the game is just beautiful. There is this little part of me when I was playing this that sat there and thought, this is what Planet Coaster 2 should have been. Like, everything about this was beautiful. This was then also the point that I realised that the developers, they were in love with the franchise. They wanted to make sure that the franchise was well represented and that they stayed true to the thing that they were trying to develop and trying to represent. As I said, I'm just having a look here around all of the stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, well, if I'm going to make a video with this, do I want to edit some of this stuff together, or am I just going to throw it out with commentary over the top? Spoiler alert, I chose the latter. But at this point, I'm going down all of the options, and I'm thinking to myself, right, how am I going to systematically do this? What have I got that's available to me? There's lots here that I don't understand. I am not a dinosaur person in any way, shape, or form, and nor do I proclaim to be. So when I start playing this, the dinosaur nerds amongst us are going to absolutely hate the way that I play the game, because unlike Planet Coaster, where I've actually got some applicable experience to go on, I don't have anything at all. So I'm going through all the guest facilities, getting familiarising myself with what's all in here. I'm wondering to myself here, though, and I still don't know the answer to this, by the way, whether you can do custom versions of stuff, right? You know, so like in Planet Coaster, you have the module or the kiosk that you can place down and then you build around it. I know that in Jurassic World Evolution 3, which is what we're about to look at now, you can see all of the building stuff. And you can place down and you can customize buildings. And I think this is the first time in Jurassic World Evolution 3 that you've been able to do this. So guys, welcome aboard the fun bus, because you are about to lose hours of your life to building buildings that I hope are actually functional in game. I kind of hope that they're not going to be just show buildings in this game, because you know that half the fun of Zoo and Coaster is the fact that your buildings actually serve a purpose. Anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm just getting a feel for the controls. It's really familiar with Planet Zoo. If you've played Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster, the building mechanisms are very familiar, and so are the pieces. Like, when you look at this, you can kind of tell that they've definitely been influenced by how Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo does it. This piece, however, was fundamental. I sat there and thought to myself, my God, why is this not in Planet Coaster? Like 45-degree angles, how cool, on a grid, how cool would that be? Then I thought to myself, I could spend all of this time building stuff, like building a building with the pieces, And then I thought, no, I actually want to see what textures we've got. You're going to see some very familiar textures. Like, I think this one we're looking at now, I think this is actually in the sorcery pack. And then you've got concrete, and you've got some amazing concrete. I think I'm not someone to sit here and go, I kind of wish the things from another game are in this game. Actually, I'm lying. I'm exactly like that. So there are definitely elements of Jurassic World Evolution 3 that I really, really wish were in Planet Coaster 2. But likewise, there's things from Planet Coaster 2 that I really wish were in Jurassic World Evolution. So, I mean, it works both ways. But look at that what they call the panelled concrete. Oh, that's exactly. Can you imagine doing like the X sector from Alton Towers with that texture? Oh, absolutely, yes, you can. Then, of course, these other textures and stuff on these walls, they all feel very, very familiar. We have seen them in other games before. They're just refined versions. Then I found the floors, and I was like, well, okay, what do the floors look like? At this point, I am making, by the way, absolutely zero effort to pull anything useful together, and that's going to be the theme of this. I am just opening this like a bag of Lego. I am not going to create anything good. I'm just getting a feel for what's here. But these textures, you guys that are experiencing this for the first time are going to have the absolute ball. You're going to have the time of your life with this stuff. Love the palettes that we've got. Love the pieces that we've got. These do seem to be a more consistent piece palette than we have in Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster 2. I kind of wish that Rich and Adam would take that on as part of a Planet Coaster 2 mini project, and making sure that we've got the same pieces for the same wall sets and stuff, because this is exactly what Jurassic World Evolution 3 does really, really well. Like, I didn't see any, it doesn't mean to say they don't exist, but I didn't see any instances of any of the pieces that didn't exist in any of the palettes. So, you know, kudos to the development team. The Z fighting, by the way, don't worry about that. That's just the fact that the next piece is trying to place on top of the piece that I've previously done. That's just the way the game does it. That's a pool. I've got absolutely no idea what that pool does, what it's for. Are there swimming pools? Are there not swimming pools? I've got no idea. So I just carried on putting down the textures. This, by the way, is really difficult to do because there's no real systematic way of placing these down. I'm just like going through them one by one and just hoping that I'm going to be doing this justice, but actually the reality is I've got no idea. I've got no idea what I'm doing or what I'm even going to do with these. But look, just look at those textures. I keep saying it, like, I'm so impressed with these textures, and the best is yet to come, because at the moment I'm getting excited about walls and floors, and you know, they're beautiful as they are. I can't wait to see what the experienced Jurassic World Evolution players are going to do with these. Like, and then, oh my god, then came the things you can attach to the wall pieces, and this set me off straight away. It's a proper door. At this point, by the way, I'm trying to find advanced move. Didn't realise that it's key bound to the key of R, so I'm pressing X, or thinking, you know, muscle memory kicking in. It would be the same across the games. Why wouldn't it be? And then I'm like, well, we don't have one, so I'm just placing them down, thinking, okay, I'll just go with it. But anyway, look at these doors. At this point, I was thinking, I can't waste my time. Well, I can't waste my time placing all of the doors down. That's just stupid. That's a waste of time. What else have we got here? So again, I'm kicking myself that my TISM kicked in and just decided to go ham and just go everywhere. I just kind of wish I just opened each of the menus and went down them one by one, just looking at all the pieces. So I'm really sorry, guys. I know some of you would want me to do that, and I didn't do that, and I'm kicking myself even after looking at the recording. But hey, some of these signs, beautiful graphics. Like, I keep saying it, the graphics in this game are incredible. They're more realistic, they're more photorealistic than they are cartoony, like we see in Zoo and Coaster, and I think that's to its credit, I think. Because it's, I don't know how to explain it. I like that Coaster and Zoo are a bit more cartoony, but in the same vein, I do also kind of wish that they're a bit more realistic, especially when you see the likes of Jurassic World Evolution 3, but I think it still works. You can rescale and resize and recolor stuff, by the way. I just don't in this, because I'm just busy trying to get a flavour, get a taste for what I've got here. You know, like, what do those banners actually look like? I'm not going to look at every single banner, but what do they actually look like? How do they behave? And then I found these signs, and I was like, well, are the signs, you know, customizable? What do they do? Do they just sit there? And they kind of remind me a little bit of the ride signs that we had in Planet Coaster, which absolutely works. And then I found this one, and I was like, are they editable? Can I edit that as text? You know, because in Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, we've got the font that we can place on the walls. So I was thinking to myself, can I actually edit that text? Doesn't look like it. They are actually fixed. Spoiler alert, they are there. I find it later on. Again, at this point, I'm overwhelmed by all of my choices and all the things that I can see. Here are some metal gratings, some metal walkways and stuff. And then there's more signs that we're going to look at. But I think we're about to get into the bit where I get proper excited, because I find floodlights, which I love a good floodlight. I'm such a nerd. And I then find an over the door exit sign. I don't know if it's yet. And I'm thinking to myself, I've seen these fairy lights before. They have made an appearance at some point in the past. And then, of course, these are all the wall-mounted lights. And, yeah, I'm just sort of overwhelmed by this. I was wondering what this was. And there does seem to be something going on with the game where it's not actually spawned it into the game. And I don't really know why or where it is. I fix it, it's fine. But yeah, it's actually an exit sign, and what I like about this is that they don't use the planet language, they use English for this, so it's an actual exit sign. So those of us that really like to do the realistic stuff and baked in our universe, although we can't say that because this is about dinosaurs in real life, but baked in our universe, the whole English thing actually works, right? And I think it works quite well. I eventually get the sign to work. There you go, there it is, and it's spawned upside down, so I place it over the top of there as you would, and there you go. All that excitement over an exit sign. But this is the kind of thing that, the kind of direction that I really do hope that Planet Coaster 2 goes down, just in its way, because of course in Planet Coaster 2 it would be in the Plankonia language, right? So yeah, I kind of hope it goes down that route, you know, where you can have signs on doors, or those signs exist, etc. And then I find all of this stuff. I find all of the backstage stuff, and my god, my world is blown. So these are all the AC vents. This is all the stuff that you can put on roofs and whatever. I'm just placing them down randomly because I just want to get a feel for what the textures and stuff are like. And look at that metal. Look at that metal. It's incredible. And we've got cables, and we've got all sorts of cluttery type stuff, and cages and fences and awnings and covers and all sorts of things. Like the building pieces in this game are incredible. And then I found this piece and I'm like, I've got no idea what this piece would be used for. Well, I know we do, it's a ramp, right? But how would you even go about using it? Because, like, what? Where would you even use it? But it's handy that you've got little pieces like this that you can just pull together, and they're all modular. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting piece of palette of stuff. I'm trying to remember what I do next to say, because it's all a blur. So I found the rubble, and I'm like, oh my god, look at those pile of bricks. How are they going to stack together? What can we do? What can we do with this? And then this is where we find the backstage stuff. This is where it really, really happens. I'm like, oh, it's a whole electric unit. Of course it is. And I'm admiring the push point switch that's there. And then I find this little box. And I'm like, well, where else can it go? Again, looking for the advanced move tool, not realizing that it's bound to R. And then all of the other backstage stuff just appears, and I then get proper game envy. And this is the point where I do sit there and say, I really wish we had all of this in Planet Coaster 2. This, please, Adam and Rich, all of this, please. So, like, the gas canister that I'm about to put down, absolutely beautiful. Actually, Planet Zoo did a thing, didn't they, where they had the conservation pack added a load of backstage cluttery type stuff, you know, with skips and the spade and shovels and stuff. This is the kind of pack that I really do hope that Planet Coaster 2 would end up would end up having. But it's a very limited niche appeal. Like, I'm making a big deal about this because I'm about to build this whole backstage area. It's very niche though, isn't it? This idea of backstage and whatever. Some of us want to be able to do this, and some just couldn't care less. And that's all right. That's absolutely fine. Some of us just want to build coasters. Some of us just want to do whatever. But each piece that I'm placing, and I'm not going through every single thing, and I probably could if I wanted to. I'm just getting a flavour for what I could clutter up a backstage with. The textures on everything, absolutely amazing. It almost feels like this game was created in something like Unreal as opposed to Cobra. Like, we're not used to Cobra looking, or I think Planet players aren't used to Cobra looking this good. At this point, I'm like, I'm just going to finish off a bit of a scene, so I'm going to put down some concrete, see what I can do. I did think, do I put down a fence? Do I make it a proper thing? And I was like, actually, I haven't really set off to do this much justice. I'm just going to make it do things, make it look alright. And now I'm just going down the menus and just trying to find things that I can now add to it. And, you know, what have I missed? What's the stuff that I've just skipped over? There's a wall sign from Din. I love that Jurassic Park, Jurassic World sign. It's so reminiscent of the original Planet Coaster world sign that we used to have. Then I found there's lots of damaged decals. Of course there would be, right? Because of dinosaurs and stuff. And I think this is the point where I then become very hyper aware of the fact that I have basically just spent 10 minutes pulling together a load of stuff, and is this actually going to be watchable for you guys? Like, is this even any good? So I just put down some final pieces just to see how they all stack together. And again, remember at this point I hadn't worked out that there is an advanced move tool, so I'm placing it manually and lining it up by eye. But as it is, as I said, you just press R, and the advanced move stuff will then come up. So yeah, building tools, love it. The textures look amazing. Everything looks amazing. Like, let me know what you think, by the way, because we are 15 minutes into this bit, and I've done a lot of talking. And I'd love to know what you guys think about this whole Sandbox experience and about the whole building tools and stuff, especially the Planet players. I really want to know what Planet players think of how this is being translated into Jurassic World Evolution 3, because I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. I've got no idea what I'm doing now, by the way. I've literally no idea, and I've got no idea where I'm going either. So commentary is going to be great. So, I know that later on, by the way, I am going to have a look at some of the rides. I'm going to have a look at how they get pulled together, and spoiler alert, they are brilliant. Like the way that the monorail comes down, I wish the coasters do. Oh, there you go. I've just found advanced move. There you go. Revolutionary. World completely changed. Yeah, so it's bound to R. So there you go. So yeah, the rides are decent. They don't come with any like fairground rides, not that I saw anyway. It comes with a selection of other rides and stuff. Before we check that out though, I just wanted to check out some of the place down buildings, because this was the point where I was like, are there the modules to do it ourselves, or is it just a plop and place? I didn't think to try and pull the buildings apart. It wasn't until I spoke to Corvus afterwards that he was like, oh yeah, I sat and just pulled the pieces apart in the park that was already completed. Then I got distracted by the water. And the textures and how the waterfalls were, and how that ranger was just running around and just doing its own little thing. So yeah, it was very distracting. But then I was like, no, I need to place down a building, because I need to see how this works in terms of plop and play, and how it's going to look and feel. Spoiler alert, it's actually going to look and feel very, very good. So I find myself a little bit of a plot of land. There you go. There's my plot of land. It sort of like clips quite nicely. I think it's going to flatten it off for you anyway. Then I realised that you could change the theme straight away. So I can just flick through the pre-made buildings, and it's just going to change the design based on the theme or the style that I'm going for. Happy days. I'm alright with that.
Yeah, for when you got to go, I suppose.
There you go. when you gotta go. So I like this element as well, and I think Jurassic World Evolution 3 is going to sit quite nicely between the idea of complete customization of everything that you do and plop and play of city skylines, you know, where you just plop stuff down and you just watch your world come to life. I think there's going to be this fine balance between the two where you're going to be able to make these really amazing buildings with the building piece by piece builder, but at the same time just allow yourself the freedom and flexibility to just sit back and just casually have a play with the game. So at this point I'm now starting to have a look at some of the rides and thinking to myself, how are these rides going to come together? How does it all work? You know, what's available to us? What attractions have we got? They are mostly tracked attractions or attractions that need some kind of pathway, acting more as tours rather than the stuff that we do in Planet Coaster. This is the bit where I sat there and thought, I wish the coaster builder behaved like this in Planet Coaster. Like, this is just a brilliant way of dealing with the track. And as you can see, there's just me going, ooh, flexible. This is really lovely. And it snaps quite nicely to angles, but then if you don't want it to snap, then it can just not snap. And I'm thinking to myself, how easy is this to control? You know, how much flexibility do you have? So I'm just going to place a real simple loop. In reality, when you're placing these down, you need more than one station for it to actually be any good and for the game to actually recognize that it exists as a thing. But for now, I'm just going to put down a real quick loop. I'm just throwing it out to see, you know, just to see what happens. And there you go, you connect it up. Happy days. You're going to need to connect it up to a pathway, of course you are. So I think I'm about to do that. He says. Maybe, but yeah, once it's connected up to the pathway, it then registers that it's, there we go, pathway is in. It just registers then that it's all connected to the main network. I don't think you have customization, but I didn't try it. I think actually, in hindsight, there's an option on the right hand side that I think removes the station building, which means then you could probably build your own station building if you wanted to. I really like that the station is thin. You know, like Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, we've got those really thick station pads. I think there's a reason for that, right? There's a reason in Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo for them to be like that, because of the functionality of the game, and I don't think this game would focus on that functionality. But yeah, if only we could just change the stations in Planet Coaster, that would be awesome. So I put down a viewing gallery. It's not attached to anything. I just wanted to see what it looked like, and it looks like that. And they actually look pretty decent. And again, there's different styles that you can choose, so you can cycle through the different themes and whatever, and be done with it. Then I saw it says the balloon tour. Yeah, it's the balloon tour. I wanted to put a balloon tour down. And then thinking that just like the monorail, it needed 2 stations. I'm going to place down 2, and then not realise that I can't connect the 2 because it just works on the 1. This could probably be a bit better in terms of user experience. This was not so simple to place down because you've got your 2 errors and you don't know which you need to resolve first. You need to resolve the track piece, and then it's a track icon, and I'm like, it doesn't have track. It's a balloon. How do I place down the track? As it turns out, that's going to be the pathway that the balloon will eventually take. But yeah, so this is a bit confusing because I'm like, well, okay, do I need to place down a second station and have them going between the 2? Again, knowing that the monorail needs the 2 stations. And then I'm like, well, it's not letting me do it. It's not letting me put it down. So what do I do? Then I click on edit tour route, and this is when it all sort of starts to make sense. But again, that bit's not very user friendly because I'm like, I need to connect these 2 together, and then actually not realizing I don't need to connect them together at all. I just create a route like this, and then around it goes. But it's not entirely obvious where your start point of the route is. Of course it is. It's the balloon, right? Silly. But it's not entirely obvious where you're snapping back to in that station. So maybe there's a little bit of user experience, user interface stuff that could be improved there, but it's not broken, as you saw. it works.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Connects it to a path, and off it goes. I accidentally get this this shot, by the way, as the monorail comes through. This is a perfect happy accident, and actually made for a decent thumbnail. There you go. So yeah, loved the idea of those two going past each other, and then off the balloon goes into the atmosphere. There you go. Love it. So then I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, what else have we got? And by the way, full disclosure, it's at this point that the finale of the whole day started to ramp up. So I started to get distracted a little bit by stuff, and I lose focus and I lose concentration because stuff starts going wrong around you. You start to have lights flickering, and you have this idea of screens that are going on and off in panel sections, and there's like bangs and noises, and you get staff that are sort of running around and they're saying stuff to each other, but you're not really paying attention because you're busy playing the game, but you're hyper aware of stuff going on around you, or something is about to happen, and then you're wondering what's going to happen. So if this next bit, by the way, this is what the reason I'm telling you this is, if this next bit feels a little bit distracted, that's exactly why. It's because it ramps up and it got louder and louder and louder, and it reached a crescendo, which is what you saw in the video that I did, you know, the 8-minute video where I put the actual finale at the end of the video. It all ramped up to that crescendo. But anyway, what I'm doing right now is I'm placing down a zip line. This zip line looks so cool. What I didn't realise at this point though was I'd actually put the zip line in an encounter. That's not a good plan. That is not a good idea. So I delete it, and I delete the other balloon ride from before, and I place it down again. So we're going to go back into the menu any minute. Come on, Chacho. No, it's not there. There it is. And I'm trying to work out how it's then going to work out. So I'm trying to work out how it's going to work out the height difference between the two stations. You know, is the first one higher? Is the second one higher? How does it work it out? Then I'm trying to attach it to the path. And I think, again, this is the bit where it's not entirely clear what you're trying to achieve in terms of where you can and can't place it. The haptic, is it called haptic? Haptic feedback is not that clear. But I get it done, so it's fine. It does what it needs to do. And it doesn't look like it's actually attached to guests being in the park, because as you can see, there is someone that's on the zip wire and goes down. It looks so cool. Absolutely looks so cool. In answer to the question, it looks like the first station you put down is the lowest point and the second station is the highest point, but I don't know whether it's dynamic. It might change it based on height and differences. I didn't get a chance to actually play with any of that. So then I thought to myself, well, if something's about to happen in this room, I don't have a lot of time left, so I'm just going to place down some other bits just to see what we've got in the game. So I found the amphitheatre, and I was like, well, I wonder what this is going to do. But again, spoiler alert, I don't have enough time to find out what it does. And then I realised that I don't actually have an open park anyway, so I have no guests that I can see. So I'm building this amphitheatre, and there's nothing for me to do with it. So I'm just going to place down the path. This is the point where I'm realising that I've still got the curve on. I don't really know how to not have the curve on and the curve radius, so I gave up. I was like, I don't have time to play with this. I don't have time to work this out. I've got lots of other stuff that I want to see, and there is this is only a fraction of what's available in the game. Like, I didn't even begin to start to put encounters in, or not encounters, sorry. I didn't even begin to put any kind of exhibits in or enclosures or anything like that. I didn't even touch that part of the game, and I'm already 40 minutes in. So mad, absolutely mad. What am I trying to place down here? Oh, the dinosaur enclosure. So the encounter. I wanted to know what the encounter was like, and then I was like, no, I just don't have. Everything was kicking off around us by this point, and it's very, very distracting. Hence the reason why I'm just now going to start playing around with bits. I don't remember what I do next. I know that at some point I'm going to start doing the terrain, because I'm like, well, okay, I don't have time to put dinosaurs in, and I haven't got time to fly them in, and the park's not open, and the rangers are doing their thing, but everybody's happy, and the park's just doing its thing. So I then start to think, well, okay, I'm going to have a look at the other guest facilities that we've got, because they do come in small, medium, and large, so I presume that we can place those down as and when your park expands, and they have different capacities, and they can have different amounts of people and stuff in there at any one time. So yeah, this is the point where I start to think to myself, I'm going to start playing with some of the terrain and seeing what we've got in terms of making the whole environment. I wanted to try out the not fountains, the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing. I wanted to try out the waterfalls and see whether I could get the waterfalls to work for myself. So I think I was quite clever, and I was like, there's a body of water. I've just placed a body of water down. I'm going to bring it across. But actually, as it turns out, you've got the park boundary there. It doesn't really like that. So now I have to try and fudge it together, because ultimately the waterfalls, they're procedurally generated, right? So as you can see in the middle of the screen now, where you've got two bodies of water that are at different heights, it will instantly recognise that, and it will place a waterfall at certain points of the of that cliff face. Absolutely brilliant mechanism. Like, how they've managed to do that is absolutely brilliant. So I found a way. As you can see, that middle bit has just done it, and so now I'm sort of like toying with how to actually make this work and make this work effectively. So I'm just trying it a little bit at a time, scooting it along, scudging it along, and there you go. It just automatically generates. So at this point, I get a little bit impressed, get a little bit excited, and I tap Moomin on the shoulder, and I'm like, have a look at this. This is so cool. Look at what we can do. And then I'm showing him this at this point. And I love it. It's so clever. And it's at this point, when I start to put some trees down, that they stop us. And this is when the announcement and stuff happens, and they get hacked, etc. If you want to go and see the full thing, as I said, I'll put a link to the video where it all is, especially if you're still at this point, then you probably want to go and see it, right? So there you go. That's the end of the Sandbox experience. And guys, thank you so much for getting to the end of this video, or even watching any of this video. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you think. Are you excited? Are you not excited? Do you care? Do you not care? I'm excited. I think I'm going to play it. And I think I'm just going to be more of a casual thing on the channel. So yeah, let me know what you think. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.